Good morning. It's a good morning today. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I am here having my 6 a.m. coffee with Shanda in my Hardcore Business mug that says, "You've got this." Anyway, I am drinking a hot macchiato, which I get on Amazon. It's a great product, and I drink it instead of coffee so that my nervous system doesn't get fried, and because I'm still trying to have a baby. So I'm cutting caffeine out. Good morning, you guys. So this morning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hot seat your business. So hot seat the problems that you have in your business right now that are preventing you from either having more clarity or preventing you from just having a fired up day. So I want to help you. So as you're coming on, say good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. If you're drinking something amazing that we all need to try, then post that in the comments section because I definitely like to see what people are drinking. And I want to answer your questions. So hi, Serena. How are you? Hi, Brandy, Judy, Sharina. Whenever I see your beautiful face with your pink shirt, it always just brings a smile to my face. You have such great energy. Hi, Crystal Jackson, superstar. Wendy McKenna. Wendy, I almost called you this weekend, but I didn't. That's horrible. Hi, Rema. Hi, Margaret. Hi, you guys. Okay, let's get to it. So I want to hot seat your problems this morning. So I'm going to sit back, look at the thread, and I'm going to look for people who have got problems, and I'm going to try and solve them in your business or in your life of figuring out your business. So let me give a distinction right now. I'll just tell you this from experience from coaching. When people are typically desperate or they have a big vision and they're desperate to hit their vision, they follow all of the coaching. And then what I find is that the thing that people prayed for, they get, and they start to self-sabotage themselves often and say things like, oh, I want to try another model, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. And it's basically the circle of stopping, meaning that we stop and we start again, we stop and we start again, we stop and we start again. So let me just share just from a coaching model, and I don't just coach coaching models. I was wildly successful in real estate. I did over $100 million in real estate sales, just me. I'm the person who did all of that sales with an assistant in my office. And I did that through email marketing, by the way. And I did that in just over a year. So I have tons of experience in lots of different areas. I ran a nightclub in Las Vegas as well. I took it from going under to crushing it every single month in just a short period of time. In less than 4 months, I was able to get that nightclub from a position of should we close it to rocking it on the Las Vegas Strip. So I know business is business, but where you put your attention and your mind is really important. So in a coaching company, for example, I like two models. I like the model of selling information products that you sell and you upsell into other big coaching programs, right? So I like that model. Why do I like that model? If you do that model right, you basically will break even or make a little bit of money on your info products, but you'll really make the bigger difference with your client base and mentorship and your income. I just don't know about you, but I've never done an info product, and my whole world just opened up and everything was solved. In fact, every time I use an info product, it moves me further in my business, which then causes another slew of problems because my business has grown. And so I'm a big fan in mentorship in coaching companies. I'm a huge fan of it. Okay, so I always look at what's going to make the biggest difference. However, just logistically speaking, from a strategy standpoint, if you build your entire business on just internet sales and there's no touch to it, I believe you're at a high risk. I mean, I have lots of my friends who have gone from, $500,000 a month in income. I know that's crazy, but at some point it probably won't be crazy for you. And all of a sudden, something happens as far as for instance, Facebook advertising has just shifted again, and things that I wasn't allowed to advertise on Facebook, I was allowed to advertise on Facebook, I'm not allowed to advertise now. For instance, I can't say in a video that I've made millions of dollars. I'm not allowed to say that in a marketing video anymore. But so all my funnels, which a lot of people are hot to figure out, all my funnels that were crushing it, we have to change again. Right? And so this is why I don't love the idea of banking all of your business on just internet sales. I like the idea of safety. I like the idea of security. So I like the idea of an ascension model that brings high ticket sales. Now, if you were to ask any of the big coaching marketers, they would tell you the exact same thing. However, here's what happens with my clients. I'll get them to the point where they're making, let's say, $300,000, $500,000, $800,000 a year. And then they say things like, oh, this is too hard, I hate selling. And, if you're around somebody like that, either wake them up because they weren't making that money before and interrupt the ego conversation in their head that is going to self-implode them, which is the ego conversation that they don't want to. So whenever you're conversating a thought that brings you down, I don't want to brings you down, versus looking up saying, wow, I've already built all of this, and I see this all the time. What is the strategy to go the next level that helps me focus on my unique ability? You see, when you start a business, you don't often focus on your unique ability, the thing that you're best at. You usually wear a lot of hats because you have to, right? Well, don't forget that when you start making money, that it's time to remove some of those hats, which causes you to have to be generous, risking, and walk into uncertainty again so that you can grow the next level. I haven't done sales in my company for 4 years now. That's just not what I do. But what happens is that because that's not where my biggest strength is. My biggest strength is actually in serving my clients and doing more presentations like this and doing webinars and doing events and creating content for my clients and looking at my clients and where they're at and what do we need to add into our company and into our programs to help them get to the next level. We're opening a whole nother coaching tier inside of Hardcore to help some of our clients transition for a couple years as they're transitioning from a program I lead, which is called Pace Club, into a group called Marketing Mastery. Those type of thoughts and strategies I can't outsource because nobody sees it like me, right? So if I was holding on to sales, I was holding on to writing copy, I was holding on to redesigning my website. You guys, my website's being redesigned right now. I have nothing to do with that. I just painted a vision. And what happens is I've hired people inside my company, which, by the way, isn't as easy as it sounds. So I have a bunch of clients who want to give up on their business right now because they're making $500,000 a year, $600,000 a year, and they're frustrated because they can't find good people to run their company. Well, wake the F up. That's just another door you got to walk through. So what? You did all this work over the last 2 years or 3 years to make $500,000 a year, and now you want to give it up because it's too hard? No. So it's like, put your head down and figure out how to understand Kobe scores, how to understand how to hire on Kobe's. Hire a headhunter. Will that cost you money? Yes. Yes, just like when you first started your business. And when you first started your business, you had to wear all the hats and it cost you risk and money. And at every layer of growing the business, you have these moments where it's risk and money, right? And so make sure that you're smarter than the problem. Because if you think you're going to throw out what you're doing again and start new again, you're actually still in the pattern of self-sabotaging freedom. So freedom is solving the problems. It's not running away from them, right? It's not getting into a marriage and saying this doesn't work anymore and running away. By the way, if you've done that, that's okay. That's what happened. Right? I don't want to bring any guilt to things. I don't want to, a negative thought process. If you're hanging around with someone who is stuck in a problem, a negative thought process is not a conversation you want to be in. You want to be in the solution, and the solution is never running away. Okay? So I'm going to look on the thread. Give me some questions. Tell me, where do you want to go in your question? Here's what I want to do, and don't write a big paragraph because I won't be able to read it on the live, right? But what are you trying to accomplish? I'm trying to accomplish $1 million a year business, right? What's the problem? So here's what I want to do. What's the problem? Here's what I want. What's the problem? And then I'll help you overcome it. Kieran, Shanda, can you please share some examples of info products? Does this mean ebooks, webinars? Okay, so Karen, info products can be, so here's the right way to think about an info product. We have an info product that's called Shanda Success System. It's on my Hardcore Business page, right? And so if you go to Hardcore Business, you land on a page that shows a clip of an infomercial that I did that basically shows a bunch of my clients in the thread that are basically selling my product for me, because they're sharing all their amazing stories of success, which then in the minds of the people that land on that page, they go, wow, this woman is the real deal. Like, she actually really gets results, right? So I use that thread on a page with very simple copy that just sells an info product, which is just my I solve model. It's my sales model. I'm really proud to say, and some of my clients are probably on this thread, right? If you've used my I solve model and you've made a good amount of money, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, $1 million, just go post that on the comments right now and just share that. My I solve model is what I sell, Kieran, on my Hardcore Business page, and it's just my sales conversation. How we get a phone call, talk to that person on a phone call or at an event, and we'll close them in a 5-step process of selling. Like, it's like a 5-step process, which I think you know. And so that's an info product. Now, I know that some people just are stuck and they have lots of leads. They have lots of people to talk to, lots of prospects, but they haven't been able to figure out the sales conversation. So I used to sell that for $1,500. I now sell that for $97, or 3 payments of $32.99. So that's a great example of an info product. Now, when somebody buys that info product, they get 2 tickets to the zone event. Why? This is called a funnel. Because just that piece doesn't help somebody build the whole scope of their business. At the zone event, I teach more details, but I only do that once a year. So someone buys my info product in January, we keep them in a bucket that we reach out to closer to the end of the year when my zone event happens, which is happening on September 25th. But we actually start text messaging them and letting them know that they have 2 tickets at our office. If you guys want to get people to open up your stuff really quickly, getting phone numbers is incredible. Like, so I have an ebook that is, it's actually not even an ebook. It's actually my full book, Core Calling, which I wrote about I actually wrote all the details about how I built my coaching company from my living room. I'm looking at the ocean right now. And my son will be getting up, I'm sure, in about an hour, and I'll be playing mommy, right? And I'll be mommy until about 8:30, and then I go back into running my business again. But I make multiple millions every year, and in my Core Calling book, I gave all of the steps and the details in order of what I did. So the I Solve model, the info product on my Hardcore Business page, is part of what's in that book. Now, here's what's interesting, back to text message marketing. I give my book away for free online, right? And like, for me, it depends on your vision and what you're looking for. I'm not looking for fame and glory. I'm looking for impact, meaning that I'm trying to reach as many people as I can in the quickest amount of time. And then what I'm looking for is I'm looking to find the cream of the cream of the cream, meaning the best people in that group. And what I mean by best, because there's no bad people, is the people who it actually is a priority for them to figure out their money piece, right? So my mantra is money is never a reason why people don't take action. And that's my mission, is to make sure I alleviate that. But that's not always everybody's priority. If you've got cancer right now and you're dying, you may or may not have a conversation in your head that, meaning that when I say dying, I shouldn't have said that. When you're fighting for your life, right? You might not feel like running a business is your biggest priority, or you might, right? And so I can't determine that. So the book is given away for free, and I put a line in there, and the line gives them an opportunity to give me their phone number. Do you know, when I went back and looked at my tracking, I made $400,000 at the beginning of this year from people who gave me their phone number, and I made nothing from the people who just took my free book. I don't know why. I'm not going to pretend like I've got a crystal ball. The only thing I can tell you is that it takes a little bit more trust. So the person would have had to do some level of personal development, or they haven't had their trust hurt in their life. So they gave me their phone number. If somebody's really skeptical, for instance, somebody just messaged me and said they bought one of our info products and they got 2 tickets to the zone event. And so what we do is we ask people to put down a refundable deposit if they bought an info product with tickets to my event. This person thinks that my company is sketchy and that we're somehow misrepresenting things because we are asking for a refundable deposit. I actually don't know of anybody who has said that to us in 4 years, but that's a perfect example of somebody who is very, very skeptical, right? It's one thing to be an analyzer, but that's somebody who's very, very skeptical. So I explained the situation on why we do that, because I order training material, I order coffee, I order tea. It costs me over $150,000 to put on the Zone event every year. I don't just open up a room and not like take care of people. There's a lot that goes into it, right? Like $47,000 in just staging, right? Like there's just a lot that goes into the actual room and the event to make sure that it has the impact that we want. So we put down refundable deposits so that what we found is people show up if they have a refundable deposit. If they don't, they bought an info product a year ago from me, they might not have the same invested interest. And so that's just what we do, right? So I hope that helps, Karen. I hope that I could kind of unwind some different strategies on why you do things so that you can hopefully do some of those things in your business. Hi, Marita. Is that your name, Marita? I am really bad at pronouncing people's names, so please don't ever get offended. People butcher my name all the time. Okay, who else? We have about 242 people that are live with us this morning, which is beautiful. Jody, I love it. I'm building a $1 million business. I love people like you. The problem is I haven't gotten past getting a lot of clients, and I'm working on it. So Jody, be obsessed with list building, okay? So it gets much easier to make offers when you have big email lists. And this is a piece that so many people miss. Don't focus on building a website. Don't worry about your messaging. I have clients, one of my clients, Amy Yamada, love this woman, right? Love her. Talk about a generous, powerful, amazing woman. If you're coaching with her, you're so safe in that woman's arms. She cares in a huge way. So, but Amy Yamada was a general business coach for a long time, and she's just focused on building her email list. And she really just discovered what her unique ability to serve the world with, her audience with, which is her world. Her email list is her world, right? And so what happens is she's learned over the last couple years what fires her up, what she's really good at. And so my point is don't get overly obsessed with your messaging or your marketing. Get really good at building your email list, and get really good at making offers to that email list. And the way that you'll know you're really good is finally they'll start landing. So I always recommend that the first thing I focused on was building my email list when I got some traction, and I stopped waking up in the middle of the night going, holy cow, how am I going to pay for my life? When I was in a relationship with a man cheating on me and I had no money and he was paying the bills, like, God forbid, nobody should ever be dependent on anybody for money. You should be the contributor, right? You should be the one being generous to everybody in your life, not be on the other side where you're like dependent on other people. So when I started getting traction, I started focusing on building the email list, right? When I built the email list, then I focused on figuring out like surveying that list. And then really my own personal development came into play where I started going, okay, at first it's like the mind wants you to cast a big wide net, because the mind thinks that when you're starting a business that if you can appeal to everybody and not piss anybody off, that you'll make money. But it's totally the opposite, right? In fact, if you go back to our Heart Business page later on, at the top I've pinned something called the rant. If you really want to take yourself on, go watch that rant and share it with everybody you love. My point in sharing that with you is that the rant is a perfect example of me polarizing my audience. And it literally pulls out the highly ambitious people, or let's take another word for that, the very committed people that are like, you know what, there's something big in me, and I'm going to make it happen and figure out the plan now. And it polarizes the people who are in this conversation that they don't want to work, right? Or that they're going to use their kids or something as an excuse to succeed. I'm about to do a training, and I'm going to, in a couple weeks, I'm actually going to show my calendar. And, it's funny because, again, I'll show people to get to the $400,000, $500,000, $700,000 mark. One of them I just did a VIP day with. She said, shit, Shanda, last year was the hardest year of my life. And I said, yeah, because now you're building team, right? Now you're transitioning into, you have an overflow of business, and now you've got to build team, right, to be able to loosen yourself up. The last 2 weeks of my life, going into a 3-day event, going into the zone event, and the next 2 weeks, I have like nothing on my calendar. I've got 2 VIP days with clients, and I've got no appointments. I've got nothing on my calendar. It's like wide open. You know what I mean? Like, I never work weekends. I don't know, like, entrepreneurs are obsessed with working 24/7, 7 days a week, but that's because you're either working the wrong plan, or you're not listening to my coaching that says you have to have space. Like, I spend at least half an hour a day to an hour just laying down on the floor or my bedroom or out on the grass listening to music to just like connect with God, right? Like, and those are where all my best ideas start coming through. And so if you're super busy working 7 days a week, you're never going to come up with the right messaging or the great idea. You'll just be so busy trying to figure out how you survive. And to be able to go into overflow as a business owner, you have to be of great service to other people. The person who solves the best problem and the most important problem in your ideal client's life is the person who becomes the wealthiest, right? So if you're so busy about trying to figure out, like, first of all, if you're running your business on your own inspiration, like, oh, I got it, this is the thing that they all need, and you actually haven't asked them, that's like being in a relationship and your partner giving you love in a way that you don't want love, right? Like, if your love language is words of affirmation and he never tells you you're beautiful and he never gives you love like that, then it doesn't matter that he's doing acts of service for you. It doesn't land, right? And so you can't operate, like, your filters are irrelevant when it comes to marketing and service. It's about focusing out, which is why I constantly work with our clients about focusing out. Okay, guys, I'm going to end on that because we're at 6:22 and Coffees with Shanda are 20 minutes max. I will go back and look through the thread and answer some questions throughout the day and help you. I'll do that now until my little son gets up for the next half an hour. And if I don't get to you, then somebody on my team will definitely get to you and send you some coaching. All right. So God bless. Have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Mwah.